Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is CJP UFC Bets. Thanks so much for joining us right here. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like this video, share this video, smash that like button, and turn on those notifications right now so you can get free picks, free bets, free predictions, full card breakdowns every single Sunday right here on this channel, CJP UFC Bets, here to break down UFC 284 Makhachev versus Volkanovski. This is going to be a great card, man. And we have a special guest here tonight. We have Sell the Red. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm all good, bro. Thanks for having me. It was a crazy card last night. Just super excited, man, to break down this card.
And where can our fans find you, man?
I got a YouTube channel called the SM Show where I break down fights with my guy Dave. I already broke down this card already, so man, if people want to know what's my channel's name, it's the SM Show. Just tap that in on YouTube and then you can find it.
Well, there you go, folks. Go find my friend, the SM Show. Go subscribe on his channel. He knows his stuff about UFC, so go help him out and give him a sub. And also here joining me is Jason. How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm good, man. Good to be back. It's going to be a good show, good breakdowns. Last night was it was something, huh?
Last night I got killed. The bookies killed me, bro. I did so bad. 5-6 on my picks, 3-3 on my bets. And yeah, they killed me last night. How'd you do?
I went 7-3 on picks, unless you want to count that draw as a win, and 8-3, I suppose. On the betting show, I gave out 3 bets, and 2 out of those 3 hit. The only one who didn't was Sunguk Choi. So I'll take that. It was an all right card for me. Okay.
How about you, Sel?
Yes.
How'd you do?
Yeah, same. Yeah, I went 8-2 last night. The draw counts as a win for me because Choi won that fight, I feel. So, I had a decent night yesterday. Yeah, I had a decent night.
Well, you guys did better than me, man. I did so terrible. I haven't had a terrible night in a while, so I think it got to me. But we'll get him back this week on UFC 284 from Makhachev Volkanovski. 2 title fights on the card and 2 of the best in the world going at it. What do you guys think about this card?
I think it's going to be a fantastic card. Looks like a lot of good fights. That main event, pound for pound, who is going to win? We will find out. You guys got to stay tuned for the end to figure that out.
Yeah, man, crazy card. I'm just surprised that they're not marketing this card way better than it should be, because this fight is one of the best fights they can make basically this year. So man, can't wait. It's gonna be a stack card. Amazing fights also.
It's going to be an amazing card, and I cannot wait to bet on it. I'm actually going to go to the sports book today, right after the show.
Wasting no time.
Absolutely not. All right, let's get into it, folks. UFC 284, Makhachev versus Volkanovski on Saturday, February 11th. And thank God it's going to be a reasonable time start time, because last week was terrible, man. I fell asleep right on the main card. As soon as the main card started, I fell asleep.
Man, they had me watching Bellator yesterday. I couldn't even stay up for the UFC card. I caught some of Bellator, and that was it for me.
For me, I stayed up until 5 a.m. in the morning, and then I slept at 11 a.m. in the morning. That's how bad it was. It started at 5 a.m. for me in the morning.
Wow,
that's crazy. That's insane.
Crazy. Yeah, you're dedicated, man, because I couldn't do that for sure.
Yeah,
but
I love the sport.
I love the sport too, but I need to get my sleep.
The beauty sleep for the show, man. You know.
Absolutely. For this card, UFC 284. I'm definitely going to watch it. I might go to the sports book and watch it in person, and I cannot wait for it. It's going to be in Australia, so Volkanovski does have a home field advantage here.
He does, yeah. A few fighters have the home field advantage. We'll see if it helps him.
All right, let's go on to the first fight on the card for UFC 284. Scheduled in the men's featherweight division, we have Zubaira Tukhugov versus Elves Brenner. Zubaira Tukhugov, he's 20-5, 32 years old, 5'8", with a 68-inch reach. Then we have Elvis Brenner. He's 13-3, 25 years old, 5'9", and his reach is unavailable. For Tukhugov, he's very quick and aggressive with a good jab and a big looping right. He's got very good grappling and okay striking. He's got okay cardio as well, and he has pretty solid wrestling with good takedowns. He likes to pressure his opponents and charges forward with decent top control. Not to mention he can grind out his opponents to a decision if it gets to the ground. For Elvis Brenner, he's got very solid jiu-jitsu with pretty decent striking. He has a very good submission skills with pretty good ground game. He also likes to stand in the pocket and create a slugfest, and he is pretty hittable at times, and I don't like that. I think that's going to be his downfall here, and that's why I'm going with Zubaira Tukhugov by decision or submission. Who do you have, Jason?
Yeah, Tukhugov, it's his first fight in a year and 4 months, but it's not like he wasn't trying to get a fight. He had 2 fights canceled on him in 2022, and in this fight, he was supposed to go up against Joel Alvarez, but Alvarez ended up pulling out. So Tukhugov almost didn't get a fight again. But luckily, we have Elves Brenner stepping in on short notice. Tukhugov, he doesn't have the most volume, but he does have decent hands. He has a nice 1-2 and a nice counter left hook. He also has solid wrestling and good timing on his takedowns. I honestly don't think Brenner will have much to offer here. He has a decent jab. He tries for a counter left, but it just doesn't have any power on it. He has decent kicks as well. The best thing going for Brenner is that he's never been finished. But he's also never been up against somebody like Tukhugov before. So I think this is a very straightforward fight. Tukhugov, he's going to win, and I'm assuming he's going to get the... Yeah, you said sub. I'm leaning KO in this. But I think Tukhugov is the clear winner here.
Yeah, for me too, man. I think it's a lock. I think he's faced better competition also compared to Elvis. I mean, Elvis also coming in short notice. UFC bright lights might hit him. Tukhugov has been there before. So, I mean, I got him all day. I think he can also get a KO finish because he's got decent power. I mean, so I can see a KO finish or a decision because Elvis is tough. But I'll sprinkle a submission for Elvis because he's got decent jiu-jitsu. So I'll sprinkle that on him. But I think Zubaira all day. He's got decent takedown defense also.
Well, there you go, folks. All 3 of us are on Zubaira Tukhugov to win this fight. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card. Scheduled on the prelims in the men's featherweight division, we have Blake Bilder versus Shane Young. Blake Bilder, he's 7-0, 32 years old, 5'8", with a 68.5-inch reach. Then we have Shane Young, 13-6, 29 years old, 5'8", with a 72.5-inch reach. For Blake Bilder, he's a pretty well-rounded guy, and he's good everywhere, just not great anywhere. He's got pretty good composure while fighting, and he's got pretty solid takedowns with good top control. He has decent wrestling, decent striking, and pretty good cardio to go with it. For Shane Young, he has a nice orthodox style with decent striking and pretty good jabs. He throws pretty big combinations and has lots of movement on the feet. He also is pretty tough and durable with good cardio. This should be a close fight. I'm going with Blake Bilder by decision. Who are you going for, Jason?
Yeah, we got Bilder. He is okay on the feet. He seems to throw a lot of 2-3s. He has good power in his hands. It's just that he seems a bit chinny. He got dropped. Let me get this guy's name here. I wrote it down and then autocorrect decided to put a different name in there for me. He got dropped by Frank Buenafiente. He got dropped twice in the first round and then in CFFC, and then he managed to get himself back together and he pulled off the triangle choke after being held down for the rest of the round. He also got dropped twice in the first round against Carvalho in CFFC, but he was able to get a takedown off the first one and hold Carvalho against the fence after the second one to save himself from being knocked out. He can also be taken down very easily, and he doesn't have a good get-up game. He would rather try to work off his back. I just want to say one thing about Shane Young before I continue this before I continue this breakdown. In his UFC debut, he went up against the pound-for-pound king right now, Alexander Volkanovski. That's an insane debut for anyone. That's a crazy fight for anyone, and he took that fight on 8 days' notice. And then obviously Volk is going to be trying to be the double champ on this card. So that says a lot about Shane there. Shane is going to have a 4-inch reach advantage in this fight, which he should be able to use very well, in my opinion. He has a good jab that he throws out there all fight long. He only throws his punches at like 50% power, so it seems like he doesn't have a lot of power, but he's just not putting everything into just one shot. He's getting you out of there with volume. I can see him doubling up Bilder on the significant strikes with the amount of volume he throws and the combinations. He has forward pressure. He might even be able to tire Bilder out. Young went for 5 takedowns against Omar Morales in his last fight. He only ended up getting 1 of them, and then he made a rookie mistake going for a leg lock when he was in top control. I think that's a lesson learned for Shane Young. But to be honest here, there's a big difference between Omar Morales and Blake Bilder's takedown defense. His takedown defense is non-existent, let's be honest. So even though Shane Young isn't a good wrestler, I don't think he has to be a good wrestler in order to get Blake Bilder down. I'm going to go with the UFC tested guy here and Shane Young to get the win by decision.
Not mad at that. I mean, I also want to pick him. I mean, I'm a Easy fanboy, so he trains with Easy, so I want to pick him, but I just don't see a path for him to win because he's on a bad run also, losing 2 fights in a row. He's not in a good momentum. And I just see Blake Bilder being able to take him down, just weigh on him because he's pretty much stocky. And I think once he gets a takedown, he's going to be able to pretty much hold him because I think when Volk fought Shane Young, he was able to do that. And Volk is a similar build to Blake Bilder. So I think Blake Bilder will be able to do that. Maybe the gas tank might be a problem for Blake Bilder in the later rounds. So I could see Shane Young being able to use his hands in the later rounds and probably get a late finish. That's what I could see from him. But if the fight goes to decision, I got to go with Blake Bilder because he's got the power. He's got the wrestling to just ground out a decision, in my opinion. And I think Shane Young is tough enough to withstand all that from Blake Bilder. And I just think it's going to go to decision because Shane Young is tough and he can take damage. And I mean, I got to go with decision with Blake Bilder. But I hope Shane Young wins because I want him to shine also because he trains with my boy Easy. So I hope he shines, but it's just him being on a 2-fight losing streak. It's not a good look for him, but I hope he wins, but I got to go Blake Bilder by decision.
Well, there you go, folks. Me and Sal with Blake Bilder, Jason with Shane Young. Should be a close fight, and it should be a close fight. I can't wait to see that. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, scheduled in the women's strawweight division. We have Loma Lookboonmee versus Elise Reed. Loma Lookboonmee, she's 7-3, 27 years old, 5'1", with a 61.5-inch reach. Then we have Elise Reed, 6'2", 30 years old, 5'3", with a 63-inch reach. For Loma Lookboonmee, she has pretty good Muay Thai skills with decent striking and a high amount of volume on the feet. She has sneaky KO power with decent wrestling and okay takedowns. Not to mention she has decent submission defense and solid cardio. For Elise Reed, she has pretty solid striking with a good amount of KO power and never stops moving. She has decent grappling with pretty good cardio, and she's pretty inconsistent, however, and can be trusted at all. I don't trust this fight at all, and that's why I'm staying away. But for the purpose of this show, I have to go with Loma Lookboonmee by decision. Who do you have, Jason?
Yeah, Loma Lookboonmee apparently has over 200 Muay Thai fights, which is insane. She has nice kicks, especially her front kick to the body. She'll blitz in and throw combinations. Now, I know you said she has sneaky power, but I just don't think she has much power behind her punches. Her kicks, on the other hand, she got some powerful kicks. She has some good clinch elbows and clinch knees. And then Reed, she throws in combinations when she throws because she's low volume for most of the fight. She looked much better in her last fight against Melissa Martinez than she did in her previous fight. So it does seem like Elise Reed is improving. We do have a common opponent here. Both of these women have fought Sam Hughes, but the fights were very different. They had very different outcomes. We saw Elise Reed not be able to stop the takedowns and ended up getting TKO'd in the second round. Meanwhile, Loma stopped every takedown and even got Hughes down 4 times. And I know MMA math doesn't work out most of the time, but I think in this case, I think it might. I think Loma can work in some takedowns and get her clinch game going along with those front kicks, and I think she grinds out a decision.
Yeah, man, I gotta go with Loma also. I just don't trust Elise Reed at all. I mean, even though she won her last fight, I just think Melissa Martinez gave it to her because Melissa went for the takedown and then Elise Reed reversed that. Then she went for the takedown. That's how she won the fight. So I was still not impressed by her performance in that fight. She was decent enough, but I was still not impressed, especially against Lookboonmee. He's been tested more in the UFC than Elise Reed. I just think Loma is going to be too much, man, especially on the feet. Her kicks are amazing, man. Her kicks are amazing. She's amazing on the clinch also with those elbows and everything. So I just think she grounds out a decision or even gets a late finish, maybe ground and pound or something like that. But I think Loma all day. She's practically a lock for me. I could see her dominating this fight.
Well, there you go, folks. All 3 of us on the same page once again. Loma Lookboonmee to win this fight. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, ladies and gentlemen. Still on the prelims. Scheduled in the men's featherweight division, we have Jack Jenkins versus Don Shainis. Jack Jenkins, he's 10-2, 29 years old, 5'7", with a 68-inch reach. Then we have Don Shainis. He's 12-4, 31 years old, 5'6", with a 67-inch reach. For Jack Jenkins, he's a very well-rounded fighter with pretty good striking and solid grappling. He has solid conditioning and cardio. He's pretty decent takedowns and wrestling. He pushes at high pace and has good submissions. Not to mention, he has a solid ground and pound and tough to put out. For Don Shainis, this guy here, he's pretty good on the regional scene, but I don't think he's UFC caliber. But I'll break him down for the purpose of the show. He does have decent striking and likes to bomb away at his opponents. He likes to chase knockouts and likes to come forward with okay takedowns. He has decent wrestling and okay scrambles. And yeah, he got dominated by Sadiq Youssef in his last fight, and I expect the same thing to happen here. And that's why I'm going with Jack Jenkins inside the distance. What do you have, Jason?
Yeah, we got Jack Jenkins. He has good calf kicks. He's got decent boxing. He works the body very well with a nice left hook and clinch knees. Jack also has good takedowns and good top control. Jack also shows 100% takedown defense, stuffing 2 takedowns on the Contender Series. So his takedown defense really hasn't been tested all that much. But it will be tested in this fight against Don Shainis. Don isn't terrible on the feet, but he wants to get the takedown and try to dominate you on the ground. But his wrestling just isn't the best, and he can get taken down pretty easily himself. He does have decent sweeps, but when Don gets on top, he does have good top control. I just don't think Shainis is that good. I don't think he's UFC caliber. I'm going with Jack Jenkins all day, but I think I might take him by decision.
Yeah, me too. I gotta agree with that. I think Jack Jenkins, I like his calf kicks, as you just said. Good boxing also. I mean, also good takedown defense. He hardly gets taken down for me. And Shainis, man, he's got decent power. I mean, but I just think for me, he forces those takedowns. And I think he's gonna open himself out for a knockout from Jack Jenkins. I think the longer the fight goes, I think Jack Jenkins with the calf kicks and everything, He's gonna damage those legs, and then I think Jenkins is gonna knock him out. Probably second round or third round, TKO or knockout. I just think Jenkins on the feet, man. He's amazing. Really, really good boxing. I don't think Don Shainis is that good. Also, not UFC caliber. He didn't show enough against Sodiq Yusuff. He got pretty much dominated by Sodiq Yusuff, who's really not a wrestler, but he submitted him easily. So I got to go with Jack Jenkins, man. Also fighting in Australia. He's going to have the crowd on his side. Got to go with him, man. And I think he's going to get a finish.
Well, there you go, folks. All three of us once again on Jack Jenkins to win this fight. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, CJP UFC Bets. Make sure to like us. Make sure to share us. Check out my dude Cell on the SM show. And Jason, I don't, you don't have a channel, so can't really.
Just on this one. So check out this channel, guys.
Let's move on up to the next fight on the card. On the prelims, scheduled in the men's lightweight division, we have Jamie Mullarkey versus Francisco Prado. Jamie Mullarkey, he's 15-5, 28 years old, 6'0" with a 74-inch reach. Then we have Francisco Prado, undefeated at 11-0, 20 years old, 5'10" with a 70.9-inch reach. This should be a fun fight. For Jamie Mullarkey, another guy with the whole field advantage, and he's got the fight experience by far in this fight. He's got very nice karate style with lots of movement on the feet and decent cardio. He has pretty decent grappling with good striking and sneaky KO power. He also has solid takedowns, good pressure, and good top pressure with good ground and pound. For Francisco Prado, he's got pretty good leg kicks, body kicks, and head kicks. He's got a good amount of KO power with decent takedowns. He's got pretty solid top control himself and good elbows from the top. Not to mention, he does have very solid submissions and is always looking for the finish because all of his wins are by finish. And that's why I'm going with the dog here. I'm going with Francisco Prado by submission or knockout. Who are you going for, Jason?
Yeah, Francisco Prado, he's coming in on short notice for this fight. He's a bit wild. He hits very hard. He doesn't throw many jabs. He basically just wants to throw big hooks and try to knock your head off. But he's also hittable himself. He has decent wrestling, I suppose. I'm not really impressed by it, to be completely honest. He can get these lower level guys down on the regional scene and hold them down pretty easily, but I think he'll have a bit of a tougher time in this matchup with that. He can also be taken down with little to no defense from him. Jamie Mullarkey is the UFC tested guy. He's fought the better competition, and it's not even close. Mullarkey is a bit awkward on the feet, and I think he can cause some problems for Prado in that because he's so awkward. Mullarkey has solid power. He's got nice leg and body kicks. And I did notice that Prado doesn't react well to leg kicks, so I think Mullarkey should be able to utilize his kicks here. He also has solid wrestling that he can 100% use in this fight. I think Mullarkey can get Prado down with little to no effort. The only thing that worries me in this fight is Mullarkey has been knocked out 3 times. And as you said, Prado hits like a truck. But that's not going to change my mind. My pick is Mullarkey, and to be honest, I think he gets it done pretty easy.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I got to go with UFC tested guy also. I got to go with Jamie. I think he's just better wherever the fight is. Decent counters on the feet also. I just think Prado is too wild. The UFC light's going to hit him also, in my opinion. And he's too wild, as I said. And I just think if Jamie just gets out of the firefights against Prado, because that's what Prado's going to want. He's going to want Jamie to want to go in a gunfight with him. If he does that, I think Prado can catch him. Because Jamie's got a decent chin. Don't get me wrong. He can take a punch, but every human can't take a lot. Basically, he's taking a lot of punishment in all his fights. So you never know. But I just hope that he fights smart. If he does that, move around, jab, 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 and then try and catch Prado while he's looking for a power punch or something like that, and even mix up the takedowns. I think if he does that, mix up the takedowns, and then jab, move around with the leg kicks and everything, I think he gets it done easily. I just hope that he fights smart. If he fights smart, I think he gets it done easily. But if he fights dumb and wants to put on a show for everyone, I think he can get knocked out because Prado hits like a truck and he's got power. But I hope Jamie fights smart. If he does, I got him. I got him. I think he can get a late finish also. But I think decision, but he can get a late finish also.
Well, there you go, folks. Jason and Cell going with Jamie Mullarkey. I'm going for Cisco Prado. I think he gets it done. I don't see anything special in Mullarkey. He's not even ranked, so.
Yeah, man. It's the level of competition for me,
Yeah.
you know. He just went
Yeah.
to a split with what's his name? Johnson. Not Randy. What's his name? Help me out. Michael Johnson. He went to split with Michael Johnson. He knocked out Devontae Smith. You know, like the level of competition isn't even close.
Went to a war with Vidal also.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens on Saturday, folks. You have to tune in. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, scheduled on the prelims. In the men's flyweight division, we have Kleydson Rodrigues versus Shannon Ross. Kleydson Rodrigues, he's 7-2, 27 years old, 5'6", with a 67-inch reach. Then we have Shannon Ross, 13-6, 33 years old, 5'6", with a 66-inch reach. For Kleydson Rodrigues, he has a very dynamic and versatile style of striking, and he mixes everything up pretty well with good elbows, good kicks, and good knees. He has pretty solid amount of KO power, and he also has good takedowns. He does need work on his takedown defense, but that shouldn't be a problem here. Not to mention, he does have very good trips from the clinch with very solid wrestling. For Shannon Ross, he has decent striking with solid grappling and okay takedowns. He throws pretty decent leg kicks and body kicks with solid 1s and 2s. He has okay cage control and switches his stances pretty often. He also has okay takedown defense and pretty decent cardio to go with it. My pick for this fight, it's Kleydson Rodrigues by decision. Who are you going for, Jason?
Yeah, Kleydson Rodrigues, he has good leg kicks and body kicks, fast and powerful punches. He goes for some takedowns, but he only gets them at a 25% clip. And when he gets put on his back, he doesn't have too much to offer. He's also decently hittable. He has a 48% striking defense. But Shannon Ross, he's pretty chinny. He got dropped twice in the first round against Vinicius Salvador, but he did manage to fight his way back in the fight both times until he got finished late in round 2. The guy is super tough, though. He throws a lot of volume, and he'll stay in your face the entire fight. He has decent power as well. Now, honestly, to me, I think this fight is pretty close, like decently close, even though the line doesn't show that. But at the end of the day, I'm still picking Kleydson Rodrigues to get the win.
Yeah, me too. I just think Kleydson is way better than Shannon Ross wherever the fight is. On the feet, on the ground also. I just worry about Rodrigues' gas tank because in his last fight, he gassed out. That's why he lost the fight. I forgot who he was fighting. I think Vargas or something like that. I picked Vargas, I think. Was it? Yeah, Vergara. Yeah. I picked Vergara, but a lot of people thought he won, but I just think his gas tank is questionable for me. And Shannon Ross, he doesn't give up. There's no quit in him. And so the longer the fight goes, Shannon Ross always has a chance for a knockout, especially when Kleydson Rodrigues is gassed out and tired because he uses the power, he uses everything. He wants to knock you out and stuff like that. And Ross has a chin, he can take damage. So I got Rodrigues all day also, but the hometown advantage for Ross could play dividends the longer the fight is. So yeah, man. But I got Rodrigues all day. I think he'll win by decision.
I was gonna say this should be a very close fight.
Yeah.
I might bet the over on this fight. I'm not gonna bet anyone straight up, but yeah, all three of us once again on the same page. Kleydson Rodrigues to win this fight. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card. Still on the prelims, folks. Scheduled in the men's featherweight division, we have Joshua Culibao versus Melsik Baghdasaryan. Joshua Culibao, he's 10-1, 28 years old, 5'10", with a 73-inch reach. Then we have Melsik Baghdasaryan, 7'1", 31 years old, 5'10", with a 70-inch reach. For Joshua Culibao, he has pretty solid striking and he is pretty aggressive, who likes to come forward at his opponents. He likes to throw big bombs and is always hunting for a knockout. He likes to create firefights and fight inside the pocket just to create an ugly fight. Not to mention, the guy is very tough. He has a solid takedown defense with a pretty solid chin. For Melsik Baghdasaryan, he has a good diverse striking with a huge amount of KO power in his hands. He's always pressing forward at his opponents, and he has good punches to the body with pretty good leg kicks to go with it. He just mixes his strikes up pretty well throughout the fight, and not to mention, he has a good finishing ability. And that's why I'm going with Melsik Baghdasaryan by knockout. Who are you going for, bro?
Yeah, we got Melsik. He's got solid kicks. He goes for these spinning attacks, but he misses them like 90% of the time. He's got good power and speed in both of his hands, especially his straight left. He's got good elbows and knees in the clinch. He works the body very well. Joshua Culibao should be at a speed disadvantage in this fight. Culibao is good on the feet, throws in solid combinations, and has good power, especially in his left hook. Culibao is willing to brawl, but I don't think he should in this fight. I don't have too much more to say here, to be honest. I'm going to go with Melsik. I'm not overly confident. I'm probably staying away from this fight, but yeah, for the show's sake, Melsik is pick for me.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was gonna go with Melsik. I like Melsik, but I wasn't impressed by his last performance. He guest started in that fight. I think he was fighting Bruno Souza, something like that. He guest started in that fight, and he throws a lot of spinning shit. That's what she said. Also, he throws a lot of spinning ish, and I mean, I think he's gonna guess out here, and I just think Joshua's boxing. Joshua mixing up the takedown also. I think also fighting in Australia is going to pay dividends for him. I mean, a lot of people picked Choi, even I did, against Joshua, his last fight, and he showed out there. He showed out. And I think, yeah, being an underdog again, I think he's going to show up. Fighting in Australia, I think he's going to mix up his strikes with the boxing and the grappling. I think he's going to be able to take him down also the longer the fight goes. And I think Melsik's on the gas. I think once he gas, the takedown's going to be there for Joshua. I don't think also he should brawl because Melsik's going to probably knock him out. He's got good kicks and everything. He's got power also. I just think Joshua needs to play it smart. He got the decent jab also. Play it smart and then mix up the takedowns. I think he can get the job done. But it's a close fight, man. He can go either way. I think it's a toss-up, really. I think if Joshua plays smart and uses the grappling, I think can cause an upset, yeah.
What do you think about the under 2.5, guys?
I'm personally staying away from this fight completely, whether it's props or money line. I don't even have an opinion for an over/under right now.
Joshua's tough, so I would say over.
Yeah, if I had to say anything, I'd say over as well.
Yeah, I would say over. Joshua's kind of tough, so I'd say over.
Well, there you go, folks. Melsik Baghdasaryan to win this fight, but stay away betting wise. Move on up to the next fight on the card. Scheduled to be the featured prelim for UFC 284, Makhachev versus Volkanovski. But before we do the breakdown, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Make sure to check out my dude Cell at the SMN show. And make sure to like this video. Tell everyone you know about CJP UFC bets. This fight is scheduled in the men's light heavyweight division. We have Tyson Pedro versus Modestas Bukauskas. Tyson Pedro, he's 9-3, 31 years old, 6'3", with a 79-inch reach. Then we have Modestas Bukauskas. He's 13-5, 29 years old, 6'3", with a 78-inch reach. I do not expect this fight to go the distance. For Tyson Pedro, he's got home field advantage as well, so that should be good for him here in this spot. He does have very solid power in his hands with good striking. He has a pretty good grappling with okay takedowns, and he has a good ground and pound as well with a pretty decent ground game. Not to mention, he's always looking for the finish, and he has that killer instinct, which I like in this fight. For Bukauskas, he has pretty decent striking with okay ones and twos. He's got solid submissions with decent cage control and okay takedowns. He does have some KO power in his hands with decent hooks and overhands. Not to mention, he has solid cardio himself with solid pressure on their feet. But I'm have to go with Tyson Pedro by knockout. Who are you going for, Jason?
Tyson Pedro is low volume, but when he does let his hands go, he is fast and he hits hard and he throws in some good combinations. He has, just stumbled over my words there. He also has some powerful leg kicks. Modestas, Bukauskas should throw a bit more volume, but the power and speed advantage goes to Pedro. Bukauskas has some decent movement on the feet, which could potentially cause some problems for Pedro, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the guy with the more eye-catching punches, the guy who didn't already get cut from the UFC because he's quite simply not good enough to be there. I'm going with Tyson Pedro, and I'm saying he gets the KO.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I agree. I just think Tyson Pedro is way better than Bukauskas, especially on the feet, way quicker than him, way more powerful. I like the feints of Tyson Pedro also. I mean, his striking is amazing for me, amazing striking. And I think also the leg kick's going to be there the whole day. I mean, Modestas' stance always opens up for the leg kicks, and I think it's going to be there for all day for Tyson Pedro with the leg kicks, and then in the first round, I think he's gonna kill him with the punches and everything. So I gotta go with Tyson Pedro. Way too quick for him. Just a better fighter. And I just hope that after this fight he gets a top 15 guy, because that's how good I think Tyson Pedro is. He deserves a top 15 guy. So if he wins here in spectacular fashion, which I do expect he will, I hope he gets a top 15 guy, because I have so much expectation for him, basically.
Well, there you go, folks. All three of us, once again, on the same page with Tyson Pedro to win this fight, and I will be putting him in my slips. Speaking of slips, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our betting video Tuesday. Every single Tuesday, we're going to do our betting video, revealing our best bets, our best props, and our dog of the card and our lock of the card will be on that bet video. But don't forget to stay tuned for our lock of the card and our dog of the card for this UFC 284. And let's move on up to the main card, ladies and gentlemen. Scheduled in the men's light heavyweight division, another fight that I do not see going the distance. We have Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield. Jimmy Crute, he's 12-3, 26 years old, 6'2", with a 74-inch reach. Then we have Alonzo Menifield. He's 13-3, 35 years old, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach. For Jimmy Crute, he's got very solid wrestling with pretty good takedowns and very good takedown accuracy. So you know those are coming. He has decent striking with a decent amount of KO power. Not to mention, he does have pretty good grappling and he can grind you out to a decision. For Alonzo Menifield, he has very solid striking with a huge amount of KO power. He has pretty good takedown defense and throws everything with the intent to hurt his opponents. He's always looking for the finish and always looking for the knockout. He also has decent cardio with good speed and pretty athletic for his size. I'm going with the underdog here, Alonzo Menifield by knockout. Who are you going for, bro?
Yeah, we got Jimmy Crute. He has good leg kicks. He has good power, especially in his right hand. He also has solid wrestling. If he chooses to use it, then he'll be glued to you and take you down over and over like he did against Olin Jacek. Now, I say if he chooses to use it because he had a very clear path to victory against Anthony Smith, but he chose to stand and bang with Anthony, and he got wobbled by a jab, and then he got fucked up by leg kicks. He shot a desperation takedown, and he actually got it, and he was on one leg, so it just shows how he had the easiest path to victory and chose not to use it. Alonzo Menifield shows an 85% takedown defense, which is great, but I think it will definitely be tested in this fight. Menifield has a lot of muscle, so if Crute wrestles him early and often, he should be able to tire Menifield out and nullify Menifield's big power on the feet. Alonzo basically just has a big looping right hand with a ton of power, and if it lands clean on Crute, then it's probably going to put him out. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Crute and just hope he gets his wrestling going from the initial bell. I'm probably staying away from this betting wise, but the prediction's going to be Jimmy Crute.
Yeah, man. I mean, the one thing that you could say for betting wise, I would say doesn't go distance, because I could see Jimmy could also getting like a submission or something if he gets a takedown, because he's got decent grounding power and also decent submission. So, but I think Alonzo Manifold is going to catch him in the first round. I think Jimmy could. I don't know if he's still okay after that leg break and also getting knocked out by Jamal Hill, just like that. I just think maybe I don't think he's gonna come back with the right mindset, even though it's fighting in Australia. But you don't know, man. A fighter that's coming a 2-5 losing streak, also being finished, you don't know how's his head at and stuff like that. So I gotta go with Alonzo, the guy who's got the momentum, the guy who's finishing fights. I think if the fight goes longer, I could give Jimmy Crute a chance because Alonzo could gas. But I think Alonzo will catch him in the first round. And I also do think that Jimmy Crute will try and strike with Alonzo, and that's going to be his downfall. I think Alonzo is going to catch him with those looping right hands, and then it's going to be night, man, because he's got decent power also. Also good takedown defense when the fight's still early. So I got to go with Alonzo, the underdog. I think he's going to catch him early.
Well, there you go, folks. Sel and I are going for Alonzo Menifield. Jason going with the favorite and Jimmy Crute. This should be a very interesting fight. I cannot wait to watch. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card. Scheduled in the men's heavyweight division, we have Justin Tafa versus Parker Porter. Justin Tafa, he's 5-3, 29 years old, 6'0", with a 74-inch reach. Then we have Parker Porter, 13-7, 37 years old, 6'0", with a 75-inch reach. For Justin Tafa, he's got good boxing, decent striking with pretty good leg kicks. He likes to press forward at his opponents and has a very solid chin. He does like to be patient at times and pick his shots at his opponents. Not to mention, he's pretty tough and durable with decent cardio. For Parker Porter, he sets a nice pace and has very athletic skills for a heavyweight with solid striking and a high amount of volume on the feet. He's got pretty good footwork and sneaky KO power. Not to mention, he does have wrestling in his back pocket with decent takedowns. But I don't think that's going to be enough for him in this fight. I'm going to have to go with Justin Tafa by decision or maybe even a knockout. I do see him getting a knockout here. What are you going for, bro, Jason?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this one quick. Tafa, he has big power in both hands. He's not the most technical striker, but I don't think that matters too much for him. In order for Parker to win this fight, I seriously think he needs to get his wrestling going, or else I think he's going to get knocked out at some point. So my prediction is just going to be Justin Tafa by knockout.
Yeah, man. I also keep it short and sweet. I mean, I got to go with Tafa also fighting in Australia. He's going to want to put on a statement, basically. And I think if Parker wants to win, also, I think he needs to grapple early. If he doesn't, I think he can even get knocked out in the first round. But Tafa's got decent power. Also, good takedown defense. So don't forget about that. I don't think Parker is going to get a takedown. I think he's going to stuff a lot of them, and then he's going to knock him out in the first or second round, man. I think Tafa's going to get it done.
Well, there you go, folks. All three of us on the same page with Justin Tafa to win this fight. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm very, very excited to see this fight. This should be a banger. And once again, I did not expect this fight to go the distance. We have Randy Brown versus Jack Della Maddalena. Randy Brown, he's 16-4. 32 years old, 6'3", with a 78-inch reach. And Jack Della Maddalena, he's 13-2, 25 years old, 5'11", with a 73-inch reach. For Randy Brown, he has pretty solid striking and uses his range really well to keep his opponents at bay in his fights. He's got a nice long jab with decent leg kicks and pretty good speed on the feet. He has pretty good boxing with nice trips and takedowns. Not to mention, he has pretty good jiu-jitsu as well. For Jack Della Maddalena, he has very good striking with solid KO power in his hands and likes to come forward with solid pressure on the feet. He's got a very nice jab himself with a very solid takedown defense. He has a high amount of volume on the feet and he is very tough with a very good chin. I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena by knockout. Who are you going for, Jason?
Yeah, this fight is going to be an absolute banger. It's the one fight that I am looking forward to most on this whole card, including the main event. Randy Brown is going to have a 4-inch height advantage and a 5-inch reach advantage. He has a long jab and a nice straight right hand. He throws a front kick to the body and to the face. It seems like Jack Della will be at a speed disadvantage here. Not completely positive on that, but I'm pretty sure Brown's faster. Jack is a switch stance fighter, and he's good in both stances. He has a solid jab, good volume, accurate punches. Both of these guys are going to have good jabs, but Brown's going to have that 5-inch reach advantage. So Brown should be able to hit Jack without being hit back too often. But Brown has been knocked out twice, and he got rocked against Chaos Williams. Brown has fought the better competition, and I don't even think that's close. Pre-tape, I thought I was going to be all over Jack Della, but after I ran tape, I feel like this fight is going to be a lot closer than this line indicates. And I'm going to reluctantly go with Randy Brown for my for a dog pick here. And let me just say real quick, look at Jack Della's nose in his Tapology picture. Holy shit. But yeah, pick's gonna be Randy Brown in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Randy Brown also. I like Randy Brown, man. He's one of my favorite fighters. I mean, I like his movement, I like his jabs, and man, I think for this fight also, he needs to play smart. He needs to move around because Jack's got crazy boxing, crazy knockout power, and I do think Jack's got a chance to knock him out because he's been rocked before, and also he moves his head a lot, so he's pretty much hittable sometimes, especially because he trusts his movement, but sometimes it's not enough because he gets caught the longer the fight goes. Even Chaos, I mean, he was dominating Chaos, and then Chaos caught him and then he knocked him down. So, I mean, got to be careful about that with his move and everything. I like his move and everything. I like his jab. I think the jab is going to be key here. And the body kicks and the leg kicks, I think, going to be key to get Jack off him, basically, because if he moves around, uses reach and everything, I think can get the job done with the decision because I can't see him finishing Jack, but I can see Jack finishing him. But man, it's going to be one of the best fights in the card. I can't wait for this one. I mean, I gotta go with the dog, Randy Brown, man. I think if you fight smart, I think he'd get the job done. I think the reach is going to be too much for Jack. But I might be wrong, but the reach is going to be too much.
Well, there you go, folks. Cell and Jason were going with the underdog here in Randy Brown. I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena. This should be a really fun fight. Do not go to the bathroom. Do not go get snacks. This should be a really fun fight. Probably fight of the night.
Yeah.
And let's move on up to the co-main event of the evening, scheduled for UFC 284, Makhachev versus Volkanovski. But before we do the breakdown, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, share this video. Make sure to check out my dude, Sell the Red at the SMM show for his breakdowns for UFC. And here's the breakdown, folks. Scheduled in the co-main event for the UFC Interim Featherweight Championship of the World, we have Yair Rodrigues versus Josh Emmett. Yair Rodrigues, he's 14-3, 30 years old, 5'11", with a 71-inch reach. Then we have Josh Emmett. He is 18-2, 37 years old, 5'6", with a 70-inch reach. This should be another banger. For Yair Rodrigues, he is a very unpredictable, dynamic and fun striker who mixes his strikes up pretty well with good elbows and knees. He has very good leg kicks and throws nice, strong body kicks. He has very good slick submissions and uses his range very well with solid cardio. Not to mention, he does have sneaky KO power and a good ground game. For Josh Emmett, he's got pretty good wrestling with good takedowns and a very solid amount of KO power in both of his hands. He has a decent amount of volume on the feet with good technical striking. He's got solid top control if the fight gets to the ground with sneaky submissions. He also is very tough, durable, with good cardio and a pretty solid chin. But I don't think that's going to be enough for him here. So I'm going with Yair Rodrigues by decision or submission. Who are you going for, Jason?
Yeah, so Josh Emmett has good kicks. He's got solid power and speed in both hands, along with solid volume. He's a bit awkward on the feet, and that causes some problems for his opponents. He has a good striking defense, sitting at 63% as well. Yair has good, fast, straight punches. To me, it just doesn't seem like he has a ton of power behind his shots. But he does have good volume, and he throws in combinations. He has solid kicks as well. We're having the big hooks from Emmett versus the straight punches of Yair. Possible takedown upside for Emmett as well. To maybe just seal off a round if it's close. Emmett just goes for a takedown at the end. I don't know. Might be able to work that in. I feel like this is a pretty close fight, and I think I'm gonna be on a boat by myself on this one. I'm gonna take Josh Emmett to find his way to win. I think he might have the harder punches. The judges probably count that for more. Mix in those takedowns. I think Emmett has a good chance here.
Yeah, they did that when Josh Emmett for Cater. I mean, I thought Cater won that fight, but
I did
the
as
bigger
well.
punch. Yeah, but the bigger punch for Josh
Yeah.
got him the win and also the takedown. So I get your points. I really do. But I gotta go with Yair also. I mean, he made Ortega look down most of the times when he went for the takedowns. I mean, I thought Ortega was gonna win the fight because I thought he was gonna mix up the takedowns and eventually get the submission. But he impressed me. His grappling is actually really, really good. Yeah. So I can't see Josh getting as much takedowns as he usually does in fights. I think Yair's got decent enough takedown defense to keep her on the feet. I just don't know with the judges. Maybe they might go with Josh with the power, but Yair with the volume and everything, with the dynamic strikes, I think should get him the job done because he's gonna have the volume, I think. But Josh has the power, so you never know. But I gotta go with Yair, just a better striker and just a better fighter overall. I just think Josh has that power overrides and then just the grappling. That's all. I just think yeah, he's got too much with the tools and everything on the feet, especially to get the job done.
I also like the over in this fight. I think the fight does go over. I hope I get a
Yeah,
good price. I hope I get a good price on that.
yeah, they both have a good decent chin, so I can't see a finish here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event of the evening for UFC 284 Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski, scheduled in the main event for the UFC Lightweight Championship of the World. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like us, share us. CJP UFC Bets will sell the red. Check them out at the SMN Show. And here's the breakdown for probably one of the best fights scheduled of the year so far. We have Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Islam Makhachev, he's 23 and 1, 31 years old, 5'10", with a 70.5-inch reach. Then we have Alexander Volkanovski, 25 and 1, 34 years old, 5'6", with a 71.5-inch reach. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this should be a banger. For Islam Makhachev, he's got a very high level, top notch wrestling game with very good takedowns and very good grappling. He has pretty decent striking with sneaky KO power. He also has very solid top control with extremely good submissions. Not to mention, he is always looking for the finish whether on the feet or on the ground. He's just an absolute killer for this division. For Alexander Volkanovski, he's got the home field advantage and he's got very good striking with a solid amount of KO power in his hands with pretty good speed on the feet. He has pretty good leg kicks with good combinations to go with it. He also has very solid takedowns, good wrestling, and decent submissions. Not to mention, he has excellent cardio and can push the pace for all 5 rounds. I'm going with Islam Makhachev inside the distance. I think he gets it done. He's probably the best fighter in UFC. So, who are you going for, Jason?
Yeah, before I start this breakdown, I just want to say thank you to all the viewers who have made it this far into the breakdown to hear this main event, what we think of it. Don't forget to drop a comment. Let us know what you think's going to happen in this main event. This fight is for the pound for pound best fighter in the world spots. We have Alexander Volkanovski going up a weight class to try to beat the 155-pound champ Islam Makhachev. The question in this fight is, can Islam get Volk down? And I think it's a pretty easy answer. I think it's yes, he can and will. I know this fight was back in 2018, but after seeing how easily Chad Mendes took Volk down, I have no question that Islam will be able to. And I know Volk got up very fast against Mendes. I just don't think he'll be able to get up like that against Islam. I do think Volk has the advantage on the feet because I just don't think Islam's boxing is very good. But I don't think that's going to matter. I think Islam gets Volk down, and I think he eventually finds the sub.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll just go with my heart. Yeah, I'll go with Volk. I'll go with Volk. But I think Islam is more dangerous in the first or second round. I think if he can get, I think he can get a finish here. But if Volk can survive those early 2 rounds, I think Volk will push the pace on Islam, a pace that he's never fought before. And I think he's going to be able to get Islam tired. And then he's going to be eventually being able to probably KO him or win a decision because I don't think Islam has been tested enough. Even though what he showed against Oliveira, man, was impressive. He impressed me a lot there. I picked Oliveira, but he impressed me a lot there. I mean, I don't want to go against him. I think he will win, but I just hope that Volkanovski wins because he's one of my favorite fighters also. So I hope he wins. I just think what he's doing right now is brave, fighting a guy like Islam, a dangerous, dangerous guy in Islam. But I just hope that Volkanovski uses the volume, uses the movement. If he does that early enough, make sure I use the movement because if he does that, the boxing, the movement, the leg kicks, if he does that, and maybe stuff 1 or 2 takedowns, he can overwhelm Islam and then Islam will overthink himself, think that he can't get a takedown, and then that's when maybe Volkanovski having the card advantage also will play a factor. You never know the longer the fight is. I don't know, man, but I just think Volkanovski has a chance here. I just think if he fights smart, I think he'd get the job done. But Islam, for me, he's the best fighter, though. He's the best fighter. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a finish in the first round. But vote for me by decision.
Well, there you go, folks. Me and Jason going with Islam Makhachev. Sell the red, hoping for Alexander Volkanovski to win. I just don't see that happening here. Sorry, man.
Yeah, VT. I know. I think Islam will get a finish in the first round. I do think he will get a finish in the first round, but I just hope Volkanovski survives the first 2 rounds and then gets it down in the feet, basically.
Well, there you go, folks. That's our full card breakdown and prediction for UFC 284. But don't go away. Here comes our dog of the card and our lock of the card coming up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is CJP UFC Bets. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, smash that like button, turn on those notifications. Here to reveal our dog of the card for UFC 284, Makhachev versus Volkanovski. And make sure to check out my dude, Sell the Red, at the SM Show for his breakdowns. My dog of the card is Alonzo Menifield. I think he gets it done. I think he's going to knock out Jimmy Crute. Who's your dog of the card, Jason?
Yeah, my dog of the card is going to be Randy Brown. I think he'll be able to use his length and keep Jack Della at the end of his jab and at the end of his kicks, especially at that big number of plus 250. I'm taking Brown all day here.
Yeah, man, I gotta agree with that. I think Randy Brown is capable of getting the job done. The jab, the reach advantage also. Gotta go with Randy Brown. Also, another guy is Volk, even though I don't think he'll win, but also Volk, I'd like to add him there. But for me, Randy Brown, though, is my most confident lock of the card.
Well, there you go, guys. Dog of the card for me is Alonzo Menifield, Jason and Cell going with Randy Brown for their dog of the card. Make sure to put them in your slips, but I do not advise it. Coming up next is our lock of the card. Coming up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is CJP UFC Bets with Jason and Sell the Red from the SMN show. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like us, share us, and do what you have to do to spread the word about CJP UFC Bets, here to reveal our lock of the card for UFC 284, Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. My lock of the card, very confident, and I'll 100%, not 99%, not 100% sure this is going to hit. So put them on your slips. Jack Jenkins is my lock of the card. He is going to dominate Don Shainis. I guarantee it. Who are you going for, Jason?
Yeah, my lock of the card is going to be Zubaira Tukhugov. And I think he kills Brenner. I don't think Brenner has a chance. I think you just toss Tukhugov as a juice it up into your parlay. He's going to win.
Yeah, for me, I gotta go with Tyson Pedro, man. Hometown advantage, very quick on the feet, amazing kicks. I think gonna knock out Modestas in the first round. So yeah, Tyson Pedro all day. Fighting at home in Australia, he's gonna get the job done.
Well, there you go, folks. My lock of the card, Jack Jenkins. For Jason, it was Tukhugov. And for Sell the Red, Tyson Pedro. Make sure to put them in your slips. Make sure to put them on your parlays. Make sure to bet them before their numbers get out of control. And also make sure to join us on Tuesday. We're going to reveal our bets for UFC 284, Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Make sure to join us for that. And Sell the Red, go ahead and plug your show one more time, man.
Yeah, man. The name of the show is the SM Show. Breakdown fights. I do a watch along also every Saturday. So yeah, man. The name of the show, the SM Show, and then you're gonna see it with the red background. And yeah, man, I'll appreciate the support. And yeah, man, I said I can't just wait for the fights and everything. I can't wait for this card. Amazing card.
It's going to be a great card, folks. Make sure to order on pay-per-view. Stream it if you have to, because I'm going to stream it. That's for damn sure. I might even go to the sports book. Who knows? But make sure to watch UFC 284 and make sure to join us on Tuesday for our betting video. Thank you so much. CJP UFC Bets. We're out of here.